Alright, what's up YouTube? It's a nice in here. Back with another video. And I guess I'm about to make this like another part of the spiritual odyssey vlog, but just me really just chatting and just talk about myself, you know? Like I said, I barely get to talk about myself. It's really like my inner thoughts and what I really plan on doing. And just even just like a quick spiritual insight about the ego and how I think about myself, and kind of like how like a mini like internal conversation I be having with myself. Like, you know, how you can, it's kind of crazy that even though I'm myself, like I said, even though I'm Kevin, it's like I'm God and the universe as well. Like that's something that blows my mind all the time. Especially when I'm having conversations with myself, and then somehow, some way, something else may come in. I'm not saying it's like a spirit or nothing, but like how, you know how people have like, it's kind of crazy that people don't have no conscience at all. Like some people don't have an internal dialogue, and that's crazy. But it's kind of like, or like somebody speaking in their head or anything. Like that's crazy. Like me, it's like my ego, and then it's like my conscience, or like my higher self, or whatever you may deem it to be. And like, let's say my ego feels one way. Like let's say my ego, like how I view my own life and the path I want to walk down, and I plan on walking down. Like if I can say my goals right now, and my egotistical goals is, you know, that I really want to, like I want to attain high spiritual CDs in a modern America. I want to damn near be a superhero. Like I want to be rich as hell. Like I want to be rich as hell. I want to have my own fucking car. I want to have my own Batmobile. Like I just want to be at peace. Like I don't care for much. Like if I got my own superhero car and I feel like Batman, or you know, I feel like that nigga every time I get in the car, I really don't care about nothing. Like that's just me. Like I really don't. Like as long as I look cool, I really don't care. Like even to the desire, like, you know, everybody just want to be that dude. Like every man want to be him. Like, you know, that's the way I think about it in my head, and I'm not gonna even act like I don't. I think it's just a human desire, especially when you're in society. It's a human desire. I think that's one thing, and you know, I just want to be him. I think that's really what it is. Like it's not nothing greater or, you know, more to it. I just want to be him. But I want to be him in the most in the most rare case possible. I keep saying where, in the rare case possible. Like I want to be damn near untouchable. Like I want to be unstoppable. I want to be powerful. Like that's how much I think about it, and that's just because I hear, you know, just reading, like hearing, like when you read like spiritual texts, and like they had these figures that like mesmerize, and then they so charming, they so cool, they so like they like superheroes and spiritual text. And I be reading them and I be hearing them. I'm like, this shit is cold. Like, and I'm surprised that this type of shit is real. And like I said, I just got a child of my mind. Of course, I'm very mature for my age. People just tell me that shit all the time. Like, you're very mature, but I'm really not. Like, people know I be at work goofing around, but I got I got the mind of a child. Like, that's wake me up in the morning. I can still think like a little kid, and I can just have an imagination like a little kid, and still find some type of peace and happiness with life, even though, you know, life isn't so perfect, and, you know, and the true thing about life is kind of sad, is suffering comes for everybody. Death comes for everybody. I can take death a certain way, but I can't help that somebody else take death, or, you know, a different bad type of way. I'm not even gonna put a label on it. It's just they take a different way, but, you know, the compassion that I feel sometimes, and for other people, not looking down on them, but that type of shit makes me sad that everybody won't take the same things. People won't take the same things as me. People will take tragic things terribly, and some people will take it better, but some people won't ever feel that. Some people will feel something terrible and like they will spiral out. I don't think I'm one of them people, but it saddens me that people do. It saddens me that people will you know, be going through something, and it's like it totally changes who they are for the worse. And that's kind of how my compassion works. Like, I don't really care about myself to a certain extent. I really don't care about. I care about, like, and that's kind of like where my trauma is connected to. I never really cared about how somebody treated me. I just don't want people that I know harmless, or my family that didn't deserve it, or just my siblings, or my younger siblings that don't do anything. I don't want them to suffer tremendously, and I know they will, and that's just the way it is. Like, you gotta realize everybody's a person, everybody's ego. But my bad, I'm sitting there, I started going off on a tangent, but all in all, I was just saying, like, the path for the ego was like me. It's like I just want to be the best. Like, literally, like, I want to be that dude. I want to be him. And then I'm be having this conversation with myself, and the way my thoughts are forming, and then be on top of this spiritual journey, getting more closer to, you know, the universe, and getting more closer to my higher self, and getting closer to my more clear conscious, where I'm not so looking at things from my own point of view, and I'm looking at things from a higher perspective. Could be a God perspective, who knows? But I'm looking at it from a different perspective, and a more softer heart, and a more less traumatized, point of view. And I'm looking at all these things I'm chasing, and I got goals about becoming, and I'm realizing that all these things I'm trying to do and become are linked to my own traumas and my own shortcomings that I had as an individual. Like, me wanting to be him, why do I want to be him so bad? You know, ain't nothing. I mean, of course, good things did come from being him, but nothing. A long list of bad shit comes with that too. And you wanting to do that for what reason? Why? So you can stop feeling so inadequate about yourself. So you stop feeling so unworthy about yourself. So you can stop feeling like you a loser. Is that why? So many times these type of thoughts be clashing in my head. I want to do all these great things, but it's like, Kevin, you already who that person is. You already worthy enough to be. You already adequate enough. Stop trying so hard. Stop obsessing over it. And those two thought processes, whether it be saying processes, just those two thought processes are always like in my mind, like fighting. It's like, and the thing about it is, I don't feel that neither of them is wrong. And of course, I hate hearing people say you got to kill the ego. I hate, even though to a certain extent you do. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the spiritual perspectives on the internet is very like, it's like people pick them up and then hand them to other people. And on top of that, nobody's telling, like, it's like people being fake about it. I don't like that. I don't like how people try to make it a cookie cutter way of living and expressing yourself, and, you know, making it seem like it's a way of life that is only reachable and attainable in certain ways, when any and every way is possible. That's why humans exist. That's why we so vast in our individualities. Everybody's not supposed to be the same. Like, just like how nobody's fingerprint is the same, your DNA, even your DNA can be the same. And literally, yo, like, I got 11 siblings. We all act different, even though we all act alike. We all act different, and we are our own person. We all act a certain way, even though our identity may either be the same or similar. But yeah, that's something that I always think about. Like, it's kind of like the balancing act between, like, enlightenment and insanity, right? And that's one of my favorite quotes from J. Cole. He was like he said, I'm teetering between enlightenment and insanity. I'm like, damn. And that was coming, and of course it's not that, it's not like no crazy ass bar, but it's always something that stuck out to me when I heard it. I'm like, and that's kind of like how I feel. That's kind of how I've been feeling. I've been feeling for a long time. It's like I'm at this what they call it? It's like I'm at this, literally, like, at this point where it's like I am I'm at the peak. It's like, it's kind of weird. I'm at this peak of both. It's like It's kind of like on the graph. I don't know if y'all remember in school where the line goes exactly like through the corner. It's like that. I'm at that corner where I feel like I'm both for one, I know I'm where I need to be at, but also it's like it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just a weird space to be at. And doing this type of spiritual work and wanting to do this type of spiritual things is kind of like, for one, let's be honest, it's a slippery slope. If you do the wrong thing, if you overdo it, it can be it could be a very sad ending for you. Like you can possibly lose your mind if you're not ready for it. If you're so fearful and you don't want to take the next step and you don't want to take a chance, if you don't want to heal, if you want to keep living your old life, and it's a high chance you will lose your mind. Like literally, you will lose your mind and start to really reverse. Even though you can't really reverse, it's kind of like when you wake up, you can't go back to sleep after you wake up. Like when you start to realize things about yourself, when you know better, you do better. And once you know that, unless you really want to hate yourself, you can't really go back. You can't really like just shut your eyes to the truth and shut your eyes to who you really are at the center of your heart. And if you know that you still that little kid that was always crying in your heart, and you seen that little kid and you noticed it, and then you just gave up on yourself, I think more than likely you will start to hate yourself because of that. So yeah, that's just my thoughts and how I really think for real. But I thought, well, I guess like I thought, mental gymnastics that even though it's kind of crazy that thinking is fun, but sometimes thinking is like very destructive, and sometimes the last thing you need to really be doing is thinking. Like sometimes you just need to sit down. Like that's that's why like, and maybe in my own head, me not wanting to be so emotional outwardly, just like to stimulate. Like it's like in a sense I try to train myself not to be so reactive to things. Like the worst thing could be happening to me, and I'm just remaining calm because for one, I think I don't like. I feel like nobody. I think the whole world will hate to see a grown man cry. I don't. And I'm not saying I be trying to keep my emotions in where I can't express myself if I'm sad or something, but I don't think people ready to see it. I don't think people need to see it neither, to a certain extent. I think the right people should see it. I don't think the whole world needs to see it, but that's just my opinion. But that's how I try to move. I try to move like people are always watching me, and I try to be a leader. And of course, there's certain caveats and specific things that comes to play with that. And I'm not about to go into specifics, but that's just how I think. So, yeah. If y'all like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and thank y'all for listening to me talk for real. So, y'all have a good day.